jump right into the action. Now I'm playing with the black pieces. The game starts out with the move e4. I play e5, knight f3, knight c6, and we get the classic Gucci piano with the move bishop c4. I play knight f6, d3, and here I play the move bishop e7. Now in the past, I've usually played this move bishop c5, but I recently had quite a bit of success with this bishop e7 move against both Lenier Dominguez and Fabiano Caruana in the American Cup. So I play bishop e7. We get castles, rook e1, I play the move d6, and here we get the move a4, creating space for the bishop on b3 or a2. Now in this position, I play the move knight a5. Now without going too deeply or too far in depth into my thought process going into this game, or the tournament as a whole, because of course there are many more games where I have white and black, I wasn't sure if I should go for this variation. However, I had looked at this line, I thought it was fine, and ultimately I decided to go for it. So we get bishop a2, c5, we get the move bishop d2, I drop the knight back, and now we get the move knight a3. Now at this point, the position is completely fine, but I wasn't 100% sure of what the correct move was. I wasn't sure if it was h6 or if it was this move a6. Now ultimately I played the move h6. I don't think there's anything wrong with this, but I suspect that a6 is the move that I had in my file. So I play a6, we get the move c3, and now I play this move bishop e6, and this is simply a bad move. What I mixed up during the game is that had I played a move like a6, for example, and white goes knight c4, then I play the move bishop e6, and after b4, I can simply trade and play this move d5 here, and the computer says this is completely fine. But in my mind, I had confused the order because I thought that it was with bishop e6 and the move knight to c4 being played. So when I went bishop e6, Gukesh of course trades the bishops and now plays move b4. And already here I was feeling very uncomfortable with my position because white is threatening to put pressure on these central pawns. There's also a lot of space here on the queen side, and it's already very difficult to play. Now here I played the move b6 after a bit of a think, and this is a move that is simply probably too passive. But the reason I played b6 versus, say, taking and playing this move d5, which is the top computer line, is that it requires a lot of calculation here. I'm creating a big weakness with this pawn on e5 after, say, a move like knight c2, and it just feels very, very tough to play, and if I'm not super accurate here, I could very easily lose the pawn and lose the game without a fight. So that's why I decided to play the move b6, we get knight c4, and now I play the move queen e8. Now the reason I went for this idea is I thought, you know what, I'm going to push all my pieces over the king side and attack, and I should be completely fine. Now Gukesh goes b5, I play knight d8, and now we get this move d4. Now I was very surprised when Gukesh played this move because here I was very concerned about a move like queen b3 and something like knight f7 and a5 here. Let's say I go rook b8, takes, and it frankly just looks very, very dangerous. White is double stacking on the file, and actually as I see the computer evaluation, it's good to note that I actually was correct in my assessment of this position. Gukesh instead plays move d4. Now, to be fair, this move shocked me for a couple of reasons. The first reason is I thought this move was simply not a good option. I thought I could trade the pawns like in the game, and now plays move knight takes e4. Unfortunately, this was the first of quite a few miscalculations in this game for me, because as I realized when I was thinking before taking, after rook e4, d5, forking the rook and the knight, white has rook g4. If I take this knight, there's bishop takes h6, bishop f6, and now after a move like bishop g5, maybe even rook c1 here. Actually, rook c1 allows queen h5, sorry. So after a move like bishop g5, white is much better here. I have this weak king. There are a lot of threats potential on the h file and the g file here with this rook. It doesn't feel very good, and as the computer says, white is much better. So I spent a lot of time here. This is one of the first moments where I think I needed to move a little bit quicker because the time control in this game is such that you do not get increment until move 40. So if there's any sort of mishap in the middle game, you can end up struggling mightily. So I decided to take, and now Gukesh surprised me again by playing this move bishop b4. As you'll notice, over these last couple of moves, I've used more than 30 minutes, and I was really certain that he would play this move knight takes d4. In this position, I was going to go rook c8. I thought rook c1 and maybe d5 was okay. Honestly, I wasn't really sure what was going on. I have a weak pawn on e6, and with D's knights very active, I thought I was in a lot of trouble. But instead, Gukesh played the move bishop b4 very quickly, and I was really unsure of what's going on, because when you play at the top level, usually when you do calculations, you expect your opponent to play the moves that you've looked at, and for the last several moves in this game, Gukesh has started playing moves that I did not think were really all that acceptable. Maybe by acceptable, what I mean is I thought they were giving away the advantage. So after bishop b4, I play the move knight takes e4, we get rook takes knight, I play d5, takes, we get takes, and now I take the knight on c4. Now in this position, I already thought at this point I had survived the worst of it. I'm temporarily up a pawn here, but if I can activate the knight with these open D and C files, I should not be in any danger. So here Gukesh spent a lot of time before playing this move knight e5. Initially, this was my big concern. Actually, at this moment, I think I went into confessional box, and I mentioned a line that I think would have been bad had I played it, which was queen to f6, f4, and rook e8 here, because I thought that we would get the move rook d7, and after queen f4 and queen to e2, I thought I was in trouble. Apparently, I'm okay here after rook c8, rook f1, and queen g5. So this is a bit of a heartbreaker because when Gukesh was thinking, I considered this line, but I thought with the rook coming to f1, the active rook, this very passive knight, I was in a lot of trouble. But apparently here after rook f1 and queen g5, because I have this passed c-pawn, it's okay. So when Gukesh was thinking, I spent a lot of time here calculating, and ultimately I played queen g5 right away. Now, this might not be the best move here. The other option that I considered was rook to f5 on Gukesh's turn. And after knight takes c4, apparently after queen f6, it's okay here. I guess with the active queen and the rook, there shouldn't be any issues, but I decided to play queen g5. Now we get knight takes c4, I go knight b7, and this is probably the first moment in the game when I started to relax, meaning that I figure with rooks coming to the center of the board, the knight going to c5 with an outpost, I should not be worse. This should be an easy draw. However, beware, when you play chess at a beginner level, it's not super relevant, but as you become an intermediate or even a strong casual player around like master or above, there are moments in the game where you really need to be vigilant. The moment you start relaxing and you take your foot off the gas and you think it's just an easy draw, the game is over, is usually when something goes wrong. So we get the move queen e2, I play knight c5, rook d1, and now I play the move rook f4 very quickly. Now the problem here is that I was trying to figure out what I was going to do on my opponent's turn, and in my mind, I had already looked at this move knight takes a4, queen e6, and king to h7, and I knew I was fine, and then I very quickly blitzed out the other move that I was thinking about while Gukesh was thinking, which was this move rook to f4. Now this move is simply inexplicable by me. It does not throw away the advantage or anything along those lines, but I was intending to play knight a4. Now, luckily, when Gukesh was thinking, I got it from the board, so there was no visual expression on my face, but as soon as I got to the back room, I had this look of confusion of like, what did I just do? This was not my plan. I was going to play knight a4. Why did I just suddenly play this move rook f4? Nonetheless, after rook f4, the position is still okay for me. It's not a big deal. I decide to take, and this is really where I completely take my foot off the gas and just assume everything is draw. I trade, and now I played the move rook d8. Now, I thought this endgame was simply a draw, and the unfortunate issue about this is that I missed one move in this entire sequence, which means it goes from being what I thought was a dead draw to actually a clear win for my opponent. Now, what I should have done somewhere around here after takes in this position is probably I should play queen c1, rook d1, and queen c3 here. And after knight c6, I guess there's a5, and probably this is okay. Honestly, this feels a little bit loose, giving white this passed b pawn that you can rush up with like b6 here. But apparently after a4, black is fine. I don't know if even if I'd used a lot of time, I would have come up with this, because optically it just looks very dangerous, even though the computer says it's fine. So this is not really something that I consider. But the real issue is that, again, because I had spent so much time earlier in the game, I was calculating a lot on Gukesh's time, so I didn't want to get super low where time pressure was an issue. And unfortunately, I go into a variation which is simply based on an oversight. So we get knight c6, and here I play the move queen d7, and actually after this move, I offered